What's going on? This is Eyedea, aka Michael Larson, aka Oliver Smart, aka Bobby Obvious, aka Optional Glenn, Rapid Dave, Swift Steve, and I'm hanging with Van Styles. You're watching undergroundhiphop.com, the TV series, motherfucker. Go kill your parents.
You were into rock first. What was the first cassette you ever bought?
First cassette I ever bought was Metallica's And Justice for All.
How do you feel about Metallica nowadays?
I hate
they've
'em.
lasted. Sort of.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen that movie, Some Kind of Monster?
No.
Yeah, you should see that.
All right, I'll check
Tell me
it
what you
out.
think of Metallica. When I was a kid, I was really into metal because like the lyrics were so scary. And that appeal has worn off in general.
Now, were you a teen angsty kid? Or
Not as a teenager. I didn't hit that until I was like 25.
Oliver Hart? Talk about that moniker.
Well, I've always had this habit of making sure that I always screw myself as far as career is concerned.
Yeah.
So it's first like touring with Atmosphere and people didn't know if we were Atmosphere or not. Then it was the battle thing and people were like, oh, they're battle guys. And then we did Firstborn and it was like, oh, they're weird philosophical fucking music dorks. So then I just thought it was a natural progression to make a record under a pen name. Actually, Derek, Max's brother, we were writing a novel at the time. We were in high school, or I was in high school. The character that I came up with in it was Oliver Hart. So then I just decided I really like the idea of quote unquote breaking the third wall. I just decided to make it a real person and then maybe trick people and think it was my name. Because if the book was ever published, then people might see it and go, whoa, that's a real guy.
So the book is done. I mean, I heard about this book. I heard Slug talking about you being a child prodigy.
We never finished it, like I'm also notorious for starting things and getting bored,
Yeah.
So we never really finished the book, but, it was an ambition at one time. Now I think if I write a book, I would actually write more of an autobiographical thing,
About who?
about me.
Yeah, about you.
Yeah.
You narcissistic little fuck.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
super important. And, no, but there's, I feel like I've been through a lot, especially in my 20s.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a lot to say there, but I put most of it in the music anyway.
What are some of the dark lights? Highlights that were dark.
It's kind of weird to specifically talk about it,
Yeah.
but just some run-ins with, there's obviously, the breakup, the breakups, falling in love and falling out of love. That's always a big thing,
And luckily, you get to experience that the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lucky us.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty much the only one I want to talk about. But just in general, the feeling of loss, death of people that are close to you, death of friends. I guess I can say this in like addiction, it's a big thing without going into detail about that. I think when you really talk about that, it doesn't even matter what you talk about. It doesn't matter if you're like addicted to this or that. The psychological behavior is really what addiction is,
Yeah.
And so you can be addicted to alcohol or sex or religion or whatever. And I think it's a very dangerous place to be,
Is there anything you regret? Because obviously you put it all into your music. You've kind of put yourself out there. One forum
I
or
think
another.
that there's kind of the perpetual psychological state of most artists that I know that deals a lot with regret, But in general, no. But I'd like to be, a little more like zen about it than I actually am. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I regret, but kind of all compiles and turns you into who you are. So it's difficult to say, oh, I regret this one thing because it, kind of opened a door to another thing. On the music tip, like, I kind of regret not always being as honest with, like, the listening audience as I am now. But whatever, I was fucking 17, There's kind of this mode of hip-hop and this kind of, like, personality and attitude that you're supposed to uphold. And I think I played into that a little too much when it wasn't, like, me. And I did it for the sake of trying to pull people into my world that is me. And like I said again, I was young and I just like had this weird shit with like my musical identity, my artistic identity. So I wish I was a little more upfront about things, But anyways, here I am, pissing people off.
Yeah. Before you were doing all this music business, what jobs were you working as the common man? Have you ever worked the common man job?
I have, but interestingly enough, to some people's envy, like I said, like I was kind of had the music thing going by the time I was like 17.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have to work that much, but medical records clerk, that was my shit, because I used to sell mushrooms to the boss.
Oh.
You can beep out mushrooms or something. And so we would just sit in this medical records facility, and it was back when everything was on paper,
Yeah.
and we didn't have to do anything. That's what people are
Let's
into.
go find some shrooms, man.
All right, I'll eat mushrooms with you.
I'm down.
I think we should do
And
it.
I'll just walk around, rock the bells on mushrooms.
Trippin'.
All right, no doubt. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Eyedea, he has abilities.
Yeah.
And the new album, By the Throat, got a pretty cool cover. Who did that cover art?
Oh, my friend Michael Gahn, he's my favorite person in the world.
Now, what the fuck is going on there
What?
on the cover?
Oh, it's basically a window with guns coming in.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Rock the Bells, 2009.
Please criticize my every word on UG. What is it? UHGG?
Underground. Hiphop.com.
Rock the Bells, 2009.